The purpose of this meeting, this forum, is to gather feedback from members of the Doraville businesses and citizens. We are not here to vote or answer questions from speakers. We are simply here to listen to your concerns.
And we really need some help with straightening out the timing for the planning department so that people that go to pick up business licenses aren't treated in an unfriendly fashion, which is what my tenant told me. He said we were unprofessional and unfriendly. He went to Lawrenceville and got his business license in about 2 days.
I've spoken to y'all before about the long process of trying to get through city planning to find out whether or not I've been approved. In one case, it took 28 days. And that's, on the 28th day, I walked into the mayor's office because I still didn't have an answer. Might be telling that when that tenant walked in on day 1, the city planner said that they usually did it within 3 days, but he had by law up to 30 to do it. My prospective tenant kind of raised an eyebrow at that and says, you know, as we're walking out, I'm not sure we're wanted here. Very early in my conversations, my first conversation, I believe, with the city planner, at some point in that conversation, I said, this new zoning is going to make it very hard for me to rent my place to anybody. And he said at that time that sometimes the best thing for the city is for these buildings to stay vacant and eventually get torn down.
My company has been here since 1958. And I've enjoyed doing business in Doraville until 2009. And in 2009, I started feeling like a stepchild. I'd like to share with you a couple of experiences, very briefly, that I experienced this past year. A father wanted to sell the business to his son. And for legal reasons, he needed to change the name of the business. I, again, went personally to the office. And because this represented a new business, same type of business, father to son, he was denied, and I lost an excellent tenant there. When it came time to renew his lease, I went with him to Mr. Haverwood's office, and we went through the new application process. And after a long period of waiting, he was denied because he had 2 locations. New York Women's Clothing had 2 locations, and Mr. Haverwood cited an ordinance that I was not even aware of.
Planner, don't mention any personal names.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
In C2, an engineering company for just baffling reasons is limited to operating on no more than 2,000 square feet. I mean, you couldn't have Bechtel move into this city. You couldn't have, you know, the major engineering companies of the United States move in here. You're limited to 2,000 feet. Who wrote that is a mystery. You can't have a toy or a hobby shop bigger than 2,000 feet. Now this, I'm reading from your C2 zoning. You can't have a home security company here if it's got monitoring. I mean, ADT would be a wonderful person here. You can't have it because you can't monitor in this town. You can't have a mailing company who does mailing for advertising if it mails to locations outside the United States. Bizarre. I mean, these are things that you had to sit around all night to think them up. You can't have rediscount financing if you do business with a bank. Think of that. Rediscount. Who in the room knows what that is? You can't do it if you do it with a bank. They love to do it. You can't do it here. I mean, the writing of this thing is literally bizarre.
Good evening. My name is Larry Levine. I'm Vice President for Operations for BrandSmart. We're at 5000 Motors Industrial Way, in case nobody's ever seen our building. The new zoning regulations appear to us to be created in an arbitrary and capricious manner. Just listening to all the people here, I think that they concur. I believe that the message is loud and clear, and I don't have to pile on. I think that this commission needs to go back to the drawing board and fix the problems. In 2010, the economy is such so that the city of Doraville needs revenue. And the revenue that you get is derived from occupational license taxes and property taxes. And if your property values are going down, your tax revenue is going down. Doraville is a wonderful city. It's a small city. If you look at the turnout, I live in a city of 150,000 people, and I don't believe that we could get this kind of turnout on a Tuesday night for a meeting to talk to the city commission, so that I commend you and all of Doraville for the same thing.
The business license time frame needs to be in order to say to the new tenants how long it's going to take, so we can keep these new tenants to come onto the Doraville in this business on these properties. So the time frame needs to be addressed on, say, it's a week, 2 weeks, a month, like he said, sometimes taking longer, and we didn't have any good response, and more friendly. Other cities are giving the business license for the people easy, and you come to them, they want your business. Here it seems like the doors are closed, not open. It's hard to get the license. Everybody has, the experience here to get the license, and it's a nightmare. It's not even hard, it's a nightmare.